conference will now be recorded.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our AnCan All Blood Cancer Support Group. We're here with a lot of great people, and we welcome others to join us next time. We have our next meeting next month. But I am Michele Nadeem-Baker, one of the moderators, and I'm joined by a few other fabulous moderators who will be introducing themselves in a second. I am in Boston, and I have chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Lou?
Hi, Lou Sears, and I'm in the middle of the country in a suburb of Kansas City, and I have multiple myeloma. Glad to be here.
Judy Williams. I'm in Frisco, Texas, north of Dallas, and I have CLL.
And I'm Lynn, out here in West Texas. I got the horse tied up outside and going to go for a ride here in a little bit, hunt some coyotes or jackrabbits or whatever. And I have small lymphocytic lymphoma. And at least I think I have it anyway. It's been hiding for a while.
Good thing.
And you're really not part bunny, even though your earphones look like it tonight. I like it. I'm going to have to start doing it myself. It's a great idea. Well, thank you all for joining us. We have people throughout the US and Europe, and we're going to start our meeting to see who needs some time to speak. So Barbell, would you like some time to speak this evening?
I guess I have to. I've been with you for a long time now, so I have something to say, I guess.
Okay, we will come back to you. Derek, because we know you have to jump to the other meeting. Do you have anything you would like to say this evening?
Not at this time, Michele. Thank you for asking.
Well, if that changes, just send a little note. Mary, great to see you.
Hi. I don't have anything to say other than I had my treatment on Tuesday, and I get Dex with that. And this was the first time that I didn't sleep for 2 days. So I'm going to fade away, and I'll probably leave quite early.
We're going to come back to you then. Before you fade away, we'll try to come back to you. I know I wish that Sally was here, but Lou is to talk about that. Lynn, how about you? Do you need time this evening?
Oh, yes, I do. I really do. Something is going on, and it's taking all my time, so I need to tell you all about it.
Oh, okay. Now I'm going now I have to go up and then down. Lou, I would love to know what's happening. Okay. Judy?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Me? Yes. Talking to myself. Lynda, would you like some time this evening to speak?
Just a little.
And Nancy, so great to see you.
Yeah, no, I don't need time. Thanks.
Okay. Well, if you change your mind, just send something in the comments. So, all right, great. I know that Mary and Derek. Mary, you're going to fall asleep soon and crash. Derek, you want to jump to the other meeting. So ladies before gentlemen, if you don't mind, Derek. Mary, tell us, you had Dex, and is this your first treatment with Dex this time around, or?
I never know how it will affect me. Sometimes it doesn't at all. But this time I never, I got up at 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, went to my treatment in the afternoon, came home, and I went to bed at 10 o'clock, and I couldn't sleep, so I played a video game until my iPad ran out of battery, and then it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and so I just got up, and then I had my full day. It's kind of like being in college where you pull an all-nighter in, but then, of course, my life was not simple. I have all these problems going on, and they just aggravate me, so I'm even more tired.
Did you ever pull an all-nighter in college, Mary?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
So how were you the next day? Wait, so this is how many days ago now?
It was on Tuesday,
Have
and I
you
went to bed last night at 10 o'clock and I fell right asleep. But I'm just dragging today. It takes a while to catch up.
Did they give you prednisone for your treatment? Is that what bars you?
Well, I think so, but it doesn't always. So, in fact, sometimes I'm surprised the night before treatment I can't sleep. I don't know what it is. But this I've never had. I never shut my eyes for 1 minute. It's really crazy.
When you're getting Dex, are you getting anything else at that same time?
Yeah, I get my regular infusions.
Wow. So what, you said it doesn't happen all the time, just some of the time?
No, I don't know.
Derek has his hand up. Did you have
I
this
have a question from, question from Mary. How are you feeling health-wise? Could you be fighting a virus or other?
I could be. I'm getting that IV, IG, but it's really worked. I'm up above 600 now. They called today to tell me I wouldn't have to get it next time I go because it's so high. But I don't know.
The reason I asked how your health is doing is because the last couple of flus I've endured, I've noticed that when the virus started hitting me, that when my immune system kicked into overdrive, I couldn't sleep. I was wired from my immune system being active. So
Wow.
I just wanted to make mention of that with these recent flu viruses going around this year.
Yeah. That's a good tip.
Has anyone else encountered that? So Derek, you're saying when you get it or you're fighting it off, you think, the flu?
Well, as it's coming on, when it's coming on, when it's first coming on, as the immune system's ramping up and they're going head to head, that's when I get the restlessness. Not able to
That's
sleep.
a very interesting point. It has me wondering myself, about.
And then the other point to that is when I'm on antibiotics, oral antibiotics, I can't sleep or have a hard time sleeping as well. I don't know if other people have an issue with antibiotics like that.
The only thing that's ever affected my sleep has been steroids like prednisone. It affects the sleep and also makes me very hungry.
Well, Dex is a steroid, right? Dexamethasone?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll warn you.
Lou, you've been on it, right? Are you on it now?
No, I had talked to Dr. Abdallah for this clinical trial that I just started yesterday. At first I thought there were two arms, one with Dex, one without Dex with the new clinical trial drug. But I'm in phase 1B, and in phase 2, he said, is when Dex will be paired with it. But yeah, I've been on Dex and prednisone and up all night. I've not gone, I don't think 2 full days like Mary had said. I typically, after about a day and a half, I can lay down and sleep a little bit. But it sounds like Mary's had a tougher time.
It was hard. Yeah.
Have you found anything that helps you when you have one of those nights, Mary? Anything that helps you relax, at least to rest?
No, but I have learned not to get upset about it. They used to make it worse. I used to be so upset that I wasn't sleeping and think about being anxious about the next day and all this. Now I just say, well, what the heck? Just roll with it. So.
That's actually a good thing for the rest of us to think of, because when I can't sleep, I'm always like, oh my God, I have all these things to do tomorrow. How am I going to do it? So yeah. That's
well, Mary,
good.
Mary, I know my wife could sympathize with you because she went through a spell on a particular medicine where it was like having anxiety attacks where you can't sleep. And it just, I mean, I had her in the emergency room a couple of
Wow.
times with that.
Wow.
And then in the end, they ended up taking her off of the medication, which was a heart medicine. And she was able to sleep after that. And the doctors were, well, that's not a side effect of this. Well, it may not be for anybody else but my wife, but it is for
Yeah.
her.
Mary, are you caught up on your sleep now?
Well, I'm gonna catch up tonight.
Okay. We hope you do.
Thanks.
Hopefully.
And we could sing you a lullaby if you just want to turn the lights down and close your eyes.
That's sweet.
Us
Thank
little
you.
baby, don't you cry.
Well, I've gotten to where I take melatonin to
Right.
help sleep.
Or Benadryl.
Well, I think melatonin may be a little safer than Benadryl.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. I don't take Benadryl, but maybe once or twice a year. But I thought about
Chamomile
melatonin.
tea. There are a number of herbal teas that
Yeah,
will
that's
relax you as well.
Yeah, whenever they've given me a steroid, right, for treatment, and then they give you the Benadryl as for side effects, it's like I've had times where I'm just kind of like stuck in the middle. It's like I'm exhausted. I can't sleep. And the Benadryl, I was like, it should knock me out, but it's not, but you're tired. Did they give you Benadryl as well, Mary? Or not?
No, but now that I think of it, when they did the IVIG, they gave me Benadryl. And I also got the other treatment the same day, and that had the dexamethasone in it. So
Oh.
I don't know why I didn't wipe out those times.
I'm surprised they gave you both infusions on the same day.
Well,
Isn't that the
one in the
protocol?
morning and one in the afternoon.
Interesting.
And then they threw in my Darzalex Fast Pro shot. But I don't think that's going to happen now because I'm skipping a week. When they start it up again, I'll make sure to say I don't want it all on the same day.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Do you live far from your medical center? Is that why they would do that for you?
Well, it's 45 minutes. So I'm sure, I don't know, they changed ownership. So they're being a lot more cost effective. So maybe that has something to do with it.
Sounds like it's a lot in one day for you. So
Well, you just get it over and done with.
that is one way to look at it, right?
That's also a lot on your body to have two things kind of supposedly fighting things.
Well, Michele, that's kind of like going into CVS and saying, I need a vaccination. Why don't you go ahead and give me 2 of them while I'm here?
Yeah, exactly. And I've been so tempted, like, because I go down for the count anyway with one, I'm like, I might as well do it for 2, but I am too afraid of one is bad enough on me, which I'll ask people about in a minute. But Mary, can you ask if maybe they would do just one each time, or would you rather just get it all over with?
I'd rather get it over with. I mean, I always have to leave Tuesdays open. It's nice to be able to plan around it. Not have my week broken up by too many things.
And so you didn't always receive the 2 together? Oh,
What, the IVIG or the Darzalex and the Criprolis?
the Dex.
I guess Yeah. See, I was getting the infusion Kyprolis every other week. And then I would get the Darzalex once a month. So I just like to get it done. As long as it doesn't kill me, I'll just go and get it done.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're definitely bottom lining it there. But if it could make you more comfortable, well, that's a good attitude you have to get it over with. I don't know. If there's an easier way, though, maybe if you mentioned it to them, but if you rather save time and do it that way, it's understandable. Did somebody else want to comment on that for Mary? Lou, I knew I saw a hand up.
Yeah, Mary, you said Kyprolis. You're doing Kyprolis and Darzalex?
Yes.
Oh, wow. You know what? I was on Kyprolis for about a year and a half and had all kinds of complications from it. So, and I was on Darzalex at not at the same time, but didn't have a whole lot of complications from the Darzalex. Have you been on it for a while though, the Kyprolis?
Yes, 3 years.
Oh my goodness.
But I had more trouble with the IVIG. That gave me bad headaches for 2 days afterward. And then after 2 treatments with bad headaches, the third treatment, I thought I had appendicitis. I couldn't stand up for like 2 days. And then the next treatment after that, when I got home, my kidney really hurt. And the next day, both kidneys really hurt. And that went on for 3 days. So I did talk to the doctor at last. And they were gonna reduce the speed of the infusion.
Oh.
And 'cause I'd heard that would be good. But now I don't need to have it because my level is so high. But I'm certainly gonna remember that.
Are you drinking lots of water?
I drink as much as I can, but I have bladder issues now. And I'm just gonna have to live with what I am, I guess. I drink as much as I can. I like to drink a lot in the morning. So I try to get in at least 36 ounces a day. My goal was 64, I guess.
So that's what you need.
But it's hard. But I'm not going to beat myself up over this, so just do what I can.
That's what we do. Lou, did you have anything else? Because your hand is up again.
You're muted.
Yeah, okay. You know how when we say give each other grace, you got to give me grace. This is just day 2 of this new clinical trial. So I'm taking a lot of naps. And when I take a nap, it makes you feel out of it, when you get up. And I just got up about 5, and I guess my brain is still kind of in bed.
Thank you so much for being here with us. I want to hear about this, but let's go to Derek first, so he can jump over to his other meeting. I think as women, we should all go crash this meeting this evening.
Now, there is a women speaking freely group as well.
Now, but that's no,
Right.
we have to go crash yours and find out what makes it so intriguing that people leave ours to go to it,
Correct. No, I had nothing in particular other than to say we missed you at last meeting, Michele, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
I'm doing well. And yeah. And yeah, your pooch needs attention, Michele. We can hear her.
I know, I'm so sorry. That is not me breathing heavily. It is her pup who she's 14 months old now. I thought she would be
Oh,
calmer.
wow.
This is calm for her, but
Yeah, she's a
she keeps,
puppy.
this is me fighting with the ball with her. So if you see me doing these weird things, it's because she just keeps coming up to me with the ball and wants it thrown. So sorry about the heavy breathing.
Or
I'm just so
glad to have
excited
you
to be.
with us. Correct.
She's calmer.
That's all I
She's
had. Thank you.
not calm enough yet. So anyway, but I'm sorry I was not here last week. Last month things kept happening, so I couldn't have my flu shot. So I didn't get it until last month because every time I go to get it, like something would happen. I had RSV that never seemed to go. I had something else, or I had a trip coming up, and I never know if I'm going to have a reaction. But my reaction was, and I'm curious if anyone else has had this. It was pretty severe in that I had a 102 temperature. Even though I started taking Tylenol as soon as I had the vaccine, then I had the chills. I felt like my head was in a vice. Then I was overly hot. I had, in the middle of the night, my husband told me I had like body twitches, which I've never had. And it seemed anywhere I had an injury in the past was killing me. This went on for 2 days, and that I was really surprised that the flu vaccine. I don't recall it. I've had something, but never like that, never quite that profound. So, Judy, you said you've had that.
I've had that every time I ever get a flu vaccine. I have to plan my life if I'm going to take a vaccine to where I have at least 3 days that nothing is that I have to do.
Yeah, the COVID one had some more.
I always have a high fever and down. Supposedly, they tell me that that's showing you're getting a good reaction.
I don't know if I always wonder, they tell us that to make us feel better. Hopefully we are.
Yeah.
And I have a more profound reaction from the COVID vaccine. So
Well, I'm not taking the COVID anymore. I'm taking the PEMGARDA, which I just got again yesterday. And I don't have any reaction at all to it.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I did not have a reaction to its predecessor, the Evershed. Is that the name of it? I did not have a bad reaction to that, but I am not a candidate for the PEMGARDA. So
why not?
Get it.
Why not?
My oncologist doesn't. She said that she thinks the risk of it outweighs the benefit, and to just get the COVID vaccine, which is.
What did she say the risk were?
It was so long ago, Judy. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I would have to look it up.
Okay.
Because I dismissed it from my mind since she didn't want me to have it. And my mind kind of works that way unless I'm reporting on it. So, and somebody else reported on that. I don't know, but I think they're publicized, the risks, whatever they are.
Well, I can tell you, Michele, when I had the flu this last month, those were the exact same symptoms I had that you got with your vaccine. But I got mine for free.
And how long did you have the flu and the symptoms?
3 days. It was very short duration, unlike others in the past. Which was very curious.
Did you have the vaccine?
Negative.
Oh, so it's not because you had the vaccine that it was short. So that's very interesting. I don't know if I think I've heard of people having it longer than that, but that is funny that I was like down with the same stuff you were and yours was free. But yeah, I got it just because, for work, I do travel to these conferences as well, but plus people around, there's so many people who are down with it right now. Has anyone else had other reactions from the vaccines? Any vaccine?
I do, from the flu vaccine, which is why I don't redo it or have not redone it.
And
I only have sore arm and maybe low grade fever, and I've got I got two the last time, two vaccinations, one in both arms,
oh, you the same
and
time? Wow.
and I took my wife in a couple months later, and she got two, and so I listened to her moan and groan for 2 days after that. You know, don't touch me, my arm's sore, etc. So I'm trying to remember which vaccinations I got. I guess I got COVID and flu was the vaccinations I got. I've already had the RSV and the pneumonia vaccinations.
So you just had a low grade fever in the arm.
Yeah, if I had any fever at all, but just kind of feeling a little bit yucky.
Nancy, you never had any of that? Lucky. Or Bill, did you ever have a reaction? No. Wow. So it's not the CLL part then. Some of us are just special, Judy.
I've always had, I mean, not just the flus, but any kind of like the what is it, the DAP shots, all of those I get reactions to too.
I'm petrified I have to get the shingrix shots.
I haven't done that one. I've got the original shingle shot, but I didn't get the shingrix, and I just stay on my acyclovir.
Me too. That's what I'm on. And so for years, my oncologist said, oh, there's no need. And now suddenly she's changed her mind. And I'm like, I wish you had told me that when I wasn't on treatment and between treatments, you know, it might have been more effective.
I just stay on my acyclovir and don't worry about it.
Has anyone here had shingles?
Just a little spot.
Oh, I heard it's, and I know my dad had it. It looks horrible. The pain and all. Was it painful? Yeah. See, I don't want to. Lynn, what was that?
Oh, it's terrible, painful. I had it when I was about 14. First time I fell in love, I had the next day after going on a hayride with this cute little girl, I broke out with terrible rash all around the right side. Judy thinks I'm kidding. We were at my grandmother's in East Texas, and my grandmother thought it was poison ivy. So they took Epsom salt and made a paste and put it all over it. Oh, it was terrible. But
that's what falling in love did for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was just the infatuation. Shirley's the only one I've really fallen in love with.
Oh.
And, she's never caused me to break out.
Well, see, now that is true. That's good. I'm glad. I was wondering what happened when you met her. If that's what happened when you were 14, I was like, oh my gosh, afraid to learn.
Well, it was 3 years later when I spotted her, and I stalked her all around the high school for about 6 or 7 months before I finally got the nerve to ask her out.
That is
You're
so
afraid you'd get shingles, huh?
Wow. Well, Valentine's Day is coming, and that's a wonderful tribute in a very odd way. I love you because you didn't cause shingles. I knew it was true love. Sorry to tease you, Lynn. You're easy.
All right. That's all right.
I know that
I've had the shingles once, though, since in the a couple of years ago. I've had it, and since then, I got the shot, and I'm Dr. Awan has me on what is it, Judy? I forgot now. Acyclovir, yeah. I've been so busy medicating my wife, I forgot what my medicines are.
Were you on it when you got shingles? When it
No.
happened? You weren't.
No.
I've been on it for 11 years.
I was just trying to remember how long. I've been on it since, yeah, me too. 11 years. Knock on wood, still working.
Yeah.
Is anyone else on acyclovir prophylactically so they don't? Ah. How many people here have gotten shingrix? Interesting, Nancy. So you have the shot and you're as Lynn and you're on acyclovir as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Dr. Wolf just has kept me on it, and that's fine because before I ever got diagnosed with CLL, I was on it for sores that I would get on my nose. So it's my dear friend.
And does it rear its ugly head now?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. And then I just do what I always, if it flares up, I go to, like, I'm on 500 milligrams twice a day. If it flares up, I go to 1,000 milligrams twice a day. My husband's over here. He's my pharmacist, doctor, nurse, cook,
Right.
laundry. He's doing my laundry tonight.
Wow.
Oh,
Like that.
Except that he offered, so that's not slave, right? He's a servant. Yes, he said he's a servant. Yeah, I don't know. The acyclovir has no negative effects for me as far as I can tell. My liver's great, and so I appreciate anything it can do to help with the immune system.
Yeah, I need to. It's on my list of many things I need to do, right? But the shingrix is
And I didn't really, my problem is I don't have much reaction to these vaccines. With the flu, but not really even like and I get the high dose flu shot.
That's what I
but
have.
it doesn't really hurt my arm, and I don't really, I might just think about a chill and then I'm done or something. It's weird. And the shingrix, it didn't. I don't remember it being. It's a 2-shot thing, right? Don't you
Yes.
take shots? Yeah. I think the first shot might have been a little more like, ooh, I actually am having a response, which I was excited about because that meant that my body was doing something. But it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, sore and all that. And then the second one, I don't think I had as much. So I don't know.
usually they say the second one's worse.
Well, I'll tell you what, shingles is the worst. I watched my grandmother have it all around her midsection, and I've had, and it's like a pain you can't get rid of.
Right. And it goes on later years even.
Yeah. I know Shirley had problems for about 2 or 3 months with shingles, and she was in terrible pain.
Yeah.
Terrible pain. I was fortunate. It was terrible pain, but it was over in about a week. By then, the girl was gone, and so I didn't have any more problems with the shingles. But,
And you were young, you were bouncing
yeah,
back.
yeah.
You were young and strong and had all the good things. And just so for the record straight, I'm pretty sure Shirley told me she told him no the first time.
That's right. That's right.
So I just want to make sure the record is straight here for Shirley.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks for letting us know all that.
The next time I asked her out, it was in the dark, and she wasn't sure who I was. So.
Well, obviously, whatever you said must have worked because you must have gotten at least a second date to be here today. How many years later did you say?
That was 1965. We went on our first date, and 5 years later, I proposed to her, and she accepted and took the ring. And a week later, she changed her mind and gave the ring back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Mary, that's. I thought I'm gonna be by myself all my life because there was nobody else that I could imagine other than Shirley being married to.
Oh. Oh, how many years later before she took the ring back?
Well, it was a week later. She went out with this she went out with this other guy that she had met when she was away at school, and then she came back and said she was going to marry me. I said okay, and she said, "Where's the ring?" And I said, "I've got it." Well, give it to me. I said, "Well, let's wait another week or two to be sure." So,
Good for you.
but we got married, and now I am just to give you a tidbit here. I am now medicating her every 4 hours because she fell and had compound fracture of her left arm.
Oh,
And
no.
Oh.
Was it the vertigo? Did she have vertigo?
no, there was a step. We were in town, and there was a step down that she didn't see, and I wasn't with her. And if she had gone back to go to the bathroom, and when she came out a different door than where I was, and so. But she got in the car and she said, I think I broke my arm," and she pulled her sleeve up, and the blood was coming down her arm.
Oh,
And I said,
Mm.
so I took her. I said, "Well, maybe we can go to the walk-in clinic." She said, "No, take me to the ER."
yeah, I imagine.
Oh,
So she
wow.
she now has a plate and screws in her arm that
Oh,
was installed by Dr. Elliot Van,
wow. You've
and she
been
runs
busy.
that.
Was that
She
during
runs
the
that. What? No, it wasn't there. Well, it was after most of the snow and ice had melted, and she was just walking down the sidewalk that had a step down that wasn't marked, and she missed it,
Oh,
and fell, and she got back up. There was nobody else around. I think that may have been when that fracture became compound, was when
Oh,
she
man.
pushed to get back up.
ah,
But anyway, she takes her last dose of oxycodone tonight. So she might keep me awake in pain the rest of the night.
Poor woman.
oh.
Oh,
Well, up until that story, I was going to say you guys are a great couple, but now I'm going to say you're an amazing couple and you need to get her well.
yeah.
Well, I've been thinking about all the things that we've been through together, with cancer and various things, one thing after another. And finally, I've decided that one of us is bad luck. I'm not sure which one it is. That's
You're-
enough for me.
You're
No,
blessed to
you
have each other.
You need to go get her a new ring. I think
Yeah.
it's the ring.
I think you're
Is
right,
it
Nancy.
a right arm or left arm?
It left arm, and she's right-handed.
Oh, that helps.
But I'm surprised at what she can't do. She can't open the pill bottles. So
You can
Yeah, you
hold.
kind of need two hands for that.
yeah.
Wow. Well, Nancy, I think you have a good point. And, it was her left arm.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Again, it's next weekend,
And you
Get
can
her another
go
ring.
big or go home.
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is not till March 14th, is it?
February. February.
It's like my husband. What's
This
the
is
date?
problem. This is
Yeah.
we understand your problem, Lynn. We're trying to help you here.
Okay. I'll be back in a minute. I need to go in there and give her a big kiss and tell her I love her.
Oh,
Good.
oh, that's lovely. So that was so cute, the story, but for Belle, you look like you're in a different spot. Where are you? Are you
At
in your
home.
home?
I'm at home.
I don't think I've seen this wall with the green. Is that a painting?
No, that's a pillow.
Oh,
Oh, that's what it is. I could not figure out what was behind you. So
No, that's a pillow.
You know, Barbell, you never have a dull moment here. What is going on with you? Every time we speak to you, there's something you've discovered.
Something new. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, last time I went off, I had Waltenström, and they had put me on a Brukinsa, which worked really well. The IgM went down back to normal. My rash was getting better. But all of a sudden, I had lymph nodes pop up everywhere.
While on it?
And that is kind of unusual, especially with the BTKI.
Yes.
So they did a biopsy and PET scan and everything. And the same day, the doctor called and said, "You have Richters, you have to come in immediately." The same day. So I went in there on the 5th of December and I got out again on the 15th of January.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I did not know you were in all that time.
Yep, I was in there all that time because they had to first get me into a trial for Richters. They have a good trial, which I'm in now, but it wasn't open then yet. So they had to do some kind of bridging, they call it, with a prednisone and watching that it doesn't get bad, because he said Richters can turn really bad really fast. So they have to keep watching me. And everything went okay. So on the 24th, I went into the trial. It was reopened then with 3 drugs, Brukinsa, sonrotoclax, which is the one after venetoclax, and then tislelizumab, which is an infusion.
Yeah.
But
Can
the
you say that again?
tislelizumab, but they do it at the pharmacy in the clinic. They adapt it to your body weight and your height, different things. So it's really personalized. Takes about half an hour to an hour, and I get it every 3 weeks for 6 months now. And well, it has been working really. I have to say, at first there was a ramp up with sonrotoclax, which goes kind of slow because they always double the dose. Like I think they start with 40 and then 80, and or 20 and 40. It takes 21 days to up ramp sonrotoclax, so it takes quite a while. But after that, it started working. Before, it didn't do much.
So how long did it take to start working?
When it was up, ramped up to 320 milligrams. So these are like 4 pills that I get, but they're kind of small. I mean, they're no large pills like venetoclax. They're small. They're small blue pills. So it's not hard to take. And the Brukinsa I took anyway already, but it alone is not enough. It's not, because a transformation took place even though I was taking Brukinsa. So a BTKI will not avoid a transformation.
Right.
And well, it's aggressive. It's a malignant transformation, and it has a key, which is a dividing factor between 30 and 40 now. So I started out with 20 with a CLL, which is already a lot, and then 25 with the Waltenström, and now it's between 30 and 40. So the malignancy kind of gets worse, but I'm fighting. I'm now, I think, on the 4th cycle or so, and I had 3 infusions so far. I have to go in every 3 weeks to get the infusion, which takes a while, because they have to take the blood first, and then they have to make the medication, which also takes a few hours, and then they have to administer it. So I was in there all day anyway, even though the infusion itself was only like half an hour or an hour. So
So
But
Barbell, have they talked to you about doing CAR T?
no, because there are different kinds of Richters. And mine developed from a CLL, and I had the choice to go into a trial. And I like the 3-drug trial
Yeah, that's
because
what I'm-
they don't have much side effects. They really don't. The infusion doesn't. The drugs really don't. I mean, it's bad on the body. It works. It's not that easy, but it's not with a lot of side effects. It doesn't have any side effects really.
yeah,
I just feel kind of weak still because being in the hospital that long, and then of course I had some infections again, as usual, in the blood, some bacteria, and I got antibiotics as usual. I think I had over 90 antibiotics so far. But in the meantime, I'm pretty stable. I'm at home, and well, I stay at home though. I can walk in the apartment, but I don't go anywhere, and I can't anyway. I'm not strong enough yet. But I'm improving. My blood work is improving. My hemoglobin is going up again. It's now at, I think, 9.2 or something. And it was down to 7.1. That was the lowest, though.
What value is that, Barbell?
The hemoglobin.
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 So that's
and-
when it was at 7. They didn't want to give you an infusion, a
No,
transfusion.
I don't take infusions because I want my body to recover. And I don't, I think I had 13 before. I had a good value, so it's actually the disease. And if you fight the disease, it will come back. And that's what it did before. It went up to 13 because I usually have 13 hemoglobin. And the last time with the Brukinsa, which I had, I went up to 13, but then it started gradually going down. That's when the transformation took place. But, well, that is the disease, though. And when they fight the disease, my hemoglobin goes up again. So every time they check, it's going up, And the problem is I have actually 2 problems, and the one is the platelets. That's the first time I have problems with the platelets. I think the lowest was 50 or something, and now I have 107, so it's going up too. But I never had problems with the platelets, so this disease really is strange. It does strange things, but other than that, I'm gaining strength back, but it takes a while, of course, because I'm older already too, and it's my 5th treatment too.
God bless you. You've been through so much in the last few years, so many different
Yes,
diseases, but they still have you on Brukinsa, and you said that things were.
it works, but it is not sufficient. It's not sufficient for the disease.
Because you said
It doesn't stop the disease. It
Are you
only
so with the other 2?
Sonorotoclax, which is something like venetoclax, but it's stronger, and it works a bit different.
Yeah.
It works a bit different in the mitochondria, and I think it's 10 times stronger. And the tislelizumab is an antibody, a PDL1, that is a substance which hinders the T cells to work. So it blocks these on the T cells so the T cells can get active. So it's actually a means to activate the immune system. And that works. That works pretty good. So my lymph nodes are shrinking. There's hardly anything left, at least in the face. Under the arm, I have a little bit on the right arm still, and I still have some in the belly, I guess, but they will check, do another PET scan later and see what it looks like, because with a PET scan they can see if there are still Richter's cancer cells to see. And then I have to see what they said. They said the ones that they have, that they are on continuous therapy, but I'm not sure if I have to do that. So I have to wait, because I respond quite well to the treatment. And there are 3 different kinds of Richters. One is develops from the CLL cell. One is independent of the CLL cell. And the third one is a Hodgkin lymphoma that is also something independent of the CLL cell. But mine developed from the CLL cell. They said it's harder to treat, but I don't think so, because it responded really well. But I respond anyway. I always respond well to treatments, because I've never been taking a lot of medication, and I have no other comorbidities, which helps too. So here I'm
So,
fighting again.
geez. So you're on the CLL RT1 trial, right? Isn't that what that's called?
Yeah, yep.
And this,
Yep.
the arm that
They
added the spun
reopened it.
vertiplex.
They did it before, I think, with 2 drugs.
They
But
did. Through
now
the
they opened an arm with 3 drugs.
Right.
But they just opened it. I was some of the first ones to enter it. And that was really good, because it was just on time.
Well, the thing is, well, thank goodness that you had the biopsy. Right?
Yeah, that's what they did, because I had a large lump here and a large lump here. That was very easy to see, that these large lumps.
How
So they
long?
did a biopsy of this one, and they saw already some crystals, so they ordered a PET scan. And that's when I got the call to come in immediately. So that they must have seen some more. But it was a bit of a surprise, I get a call from the clinic, and I said, well, I have an appointment on Monday. Is that sufficient? And he said, no, you have to come immediately. So
is Richter's only diagnosed through a lymph node biopsy? Can they tell from a blood work?
A biopsy will tell, and also a PET scan.
PET scan.
Because then they have I guess it lights up somewhat in the PET scan.
Yeah.
It tells them where to do the biopsy.
Well,
they knew where to do the biopsy. That was the biopsy was not the problem. That was the first step to see if there was anything. And they did find some cells there, so that's why they did the PET scan. And then they found out there were more in the body, of course, because you don't see everything. I mean, those under the arm you could probably touch, but the ones in the belly, not, the ones that are inside. And these are usually worse with me. I have more inside than I have outside. But of course, in the course of time, I probably would have gotten more like I did before, because it's so aggressive.
Because I've been wondering why I've been hearing about, people who are past frontline treatment, and even, their next treatments, that they've been biopsying lymph nodes, and now I'm understanding why. And that maybe
always, even the first time they did it, because I had such a strong disease, they did a biopsy also just to confirm what it was. They were suspicious every time that I had Richter's, because I have trisomy 12, and if you have trisomy 12, there is a danger that it can transform to Richter's.
Yeah.
So, this time I have it now, but I think they caught it relatively early, which is good, because if you wait, you can get really bad, and then it's hard to treat. And it doesn't always respond to every treatment either. because they used to take EPOC for treatment, but
Is that what
not every type of Richter responds to EPOC. So
Mine was double large cell lymphoma.
yep, right. So it's not that easy to find the right drug, but this is a good combination. But this is now the first time they do the 3-drug combination, and I always like that because I already did a 3-drug combination with the CLL-13 study when I had such a high tumor burden, and it was very successful because if you have 3 drugs, it attacks cancer cells in 3 different ways. And it's not one clone that does the trick, it's usually multiple clones. And if you have one drug, there are always some that escape. So the more drugs you have, the more clones you can get. So I really like the 3-drug treatments because especially in aggressive disease, I think it works best. Because otherwise you have some that escape and give you other problems again.
Judy,
Kill as many as possible.
Judy, how many, sorry, not how many, Richters. So how long were you on treatment and were you on EPOC? I saw you nodding your head.
I did the R-EPOC, and the last 3 rounds of that, I got venetoclax was added to it. That was in 2019 from September to January, the 1st of January of 2020. And then I started taking acalabrutinib after I came off of that to kind of keep it in check, but I could only take it for like 2.5 months because my neutrophils were so low. And so we came off of it, and I didn't take anything else until the January of 24. So
You
I
had a good holiday.
Yeah, I had a pretty long time. But that, I started with the pirtobrutinib for 17 months and then added, like barbell, I'm now on the 3 drugs. They added the venetoclax and the obinutuzumab to that. So
What 3 drugs do you have? Venetoclax or Venut?
I did the obinutuzumab, which I finished in December. I'd been taking pirtobrutinib for 17 months, and I just continued with it. And then we did the ramp up of venetoclax that I finished the ramp up, I think, in November to the 400 milligram of venetoclax.
That's the treatment I had. That was I was in the 3-arm treatment in the CLL-13 study. And it was also very successful, that arm, but I didn't have many patients. Huh?
Mine is not a study because of being treated with the REPOC precludes me from being in most studies.
Judy, do you have to stay on the Perto and the Ven indefinitely?
Well, we were looking at doing it a year and then seeing how it was and doing 2 years if necessary. But this last time when I went in January, he is talking about me going ahead and doing CAR T, mainly because he said that the CAR T, if the burden of the disease is very low, that CAR T is more successful. So we may be looking at this summer doing that. He also said that they could harvest my T cells and have them on ice, I guess, so to speak, for up to a year.
I think they also have a method now where they make CAR Ts inside the body. They don't take them out anymore.
They have that. That's a new.
This one is.
That is new.
That's in trial, right? Early stage trial.
Yeah.
What you just said, Barbell, at least here. In Germany, is it approved?
They make CAR T cells. I know that, but I don't know if they do that.
That's currently, I think, enrolling first phase patients, the CAR T inside your own body. But Judy, which would yours be?
Mine would be the extraction. And
so more, I don't even know if you can call anything CAR T traditional, but what we know about, right?
Well, but what he said is they're even doing it on an outpatient basis, but I probably would do it going in the hospital just for a week is what he said. And then being closely monitored for another week, and then some others, but not as closely as that first week because they've learned to control it so well.
So would you still be on Perto and Ven when that happens?
No, probably not. And from what I understand, the last time we really talked about it is they start the bridging with the ibrutinib instead of the Perto because they said the ibrutinib is a better precursor to the CAR T being successful.
Yeah, I wonder. I've heard that, and I don't. Is that just because that's what they've tested and that's what they know?
I don't know, but he said it was better than the acalabrutinib, so evidently he's done it, or they've done it, with the acalabrutinib too. So.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, and would that mean you can go off all treatment after that?
That's the hope. So I'm sure, from what I've heard, you probably have to stay on the IVIG for, indefinitely. So Lou can probably speak more to that since she's had several CAR Ts.
Hey, Barbell, have your sons, Barbell, were you taking a nap?
No.
Were your sons able to be with you? I mean, you were in the hospital for such a long time, but now that you're home, are they able to help around? Or else do you have some home health or something? Because I always worry about.
Helps me. My sons had the flu. They couldn't come.
Oh no!
All of them, even my grandchildren had the flu. So they were sick for 2 weeks, and after that they didn't feel well, so they didn't come because he said they might pass something on to me.
They say the flu is more contagious longer, and before you even start having symptoms, it's contagious. That's the last thing.
And it was really bad this time because sometimes they felt better, and then it came back, and then they were sick again. So, I didn't want that,
Right.
But I have a neighbor, and she was helping me out.
That's good.
I put a link in the chat to the webinar that Dr. Brian Kaufman did about ASH, and with another doctor, and I'm sure that Michele knows the fellow. I can't pronounce his name.
He just changed practice.
Bird?
No, it's Dr. Kittai.
Oh, Kittai.
Kittai, yes.
Adam Kittai.
He went to New York. He's in New York now somewhere.
He is. He was
very encouraging news about success of CAR T, the Lyso CAR T, and also some good news coming through on Richter's transformation treatments too.
There was a lot at ASH about Richter's this year. I've never seen so much presented on it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Barbell has trisomy 12, and that's also my CLL is trisomy 12.
Yeah, but the problem is that it can be different Richters, and they are different. They need different treatments.
Yeah.
But
And
try
I
some,
think it actually depends always on the disease course, you know, and the aggressiveness of the clones. I mean, there's many factors to consider, I think.
Right.
Uh, it's not that easy, but I said if more patients get now Richters, and my doctor said because they live longer.
Mhm.
Because of the treatments, they live longer now than they did before, and then these transformations can occur. So
Right.
that's why they are so concerned about getting good treatments for Richters. I think I read somewhere 10% of all patients get Richters.
That's about right, I think.
Well, you know, it's like when you get cancer, it's like going to the rodeo. And what I go to, I'm like a little calf roper. And Barbell, you and Judy are like bull riders. That is, I mean,
In a way.
I am always, and Lou is a bull rider, and Mary is a bull rider.
Yeah.
Lynn and I, we're just little calf ropers right now. We're just going to milk the calf. But you guys are out there like it's a rodeo.
Well, I think Lou is at the top of the deal. She has us all.
Yeah, she's always into
I love
treatment.
that analogy. I really do. Maybe that'll be the name of my book. Why getting cancer is like a rodeo. I have to go to your ranch first to do this.
Yeah, you'll have to use me as a consultant on that.
Absolutely. And
she-
come for the roundup.
The illustrations for you.
I've been to the Houston rodeo, but it's not the same as I think I need to see all of you doing this.
You
Riding
have a
the bull.
ranch, Nancy?
Yes, but that's what my family, my two brothers, my sister, and I, we run a cow calf operation out in Cross Plains, which is close to Baird. I know you know Baird, so you know.
Oh, it's a lot of work, though.
It is a lot. Twice a year, it's a rodeo.
Okay.
We have a fall and a spring roundup.
Oh, okay.
You got to round up all those new calves, you know, and get them treated for various things, and some of them are going to be some of them will be steers when it's over with.
Yeah, I was gonna say pregnancy testing is in the fall, and yeah, it's kind of interesting. People who aren't used to who don't it's kind of violent. I didn't realize how violent it was to someone who hadn't grown up with it, but I had my grandson, and I really thought he was gonna get paralyzed. It freaked him out so bad. And I was like, oh my goodness, because he had never been out at the roundup. He's 10 years old now, and he had never seen this. And I thought, oh, it's just around. Boy, I learned something that day. I got to think before I bring people out there. I got to prepare people better.
Well, I was 4 years old the first time I walked out in the chicken yard with my grandpa, and he picked one out and chopped the head off, and the body flopped around. That was quite traumatic. That would have been 1951 about, but that was just life on the farm.
That's right.
Yeah, from that time on, you didn't eat any chicken anymore.
Oh no, chicken is just fine. But my husband is from Vermont, and his parents were scientists and doctors, and academy people, or academia, I guess is what you say. And so we raised chickens in 4-H, my son, and we didn't know what we were doing. But my husband asked, they were broilers, which means they get to a certain size, and then you really need to butcher them because it's just bad for them. So he asked my dad, he said, how do I butcher him? And my husband hunts. I mean, he knows all the, and my dad says, well, you just take him by the neck and just swing him around and that's that. It'll be over. Well, he did that, but he went, whoa, The third time around, the body left and the head was here. And then after that, he just went and got his machete and did what Lynn said. He just went and got him off.
My grandmother hung them up by their feet on the clothesline and then did the decapitating.
Yeah, my job was to process them inside, just to cool them down and then get them ready for the freezer. And we had a blue tick coonhound. Do y'all know what that dog looks like?
Mm-hmm.
It's a tall dog, and it looks like this.
Floppy ears.
That's all it does. It just, and they're.
Did we get that on the video?
Yeah, you did.
I was
As a
thinking
matter of
that.
fact. So then they just fought. So that day, the swan. Do y'all know what a swan man is? Do y'all have swan in
Yeah,
Germany?
but I think they've gone out of business though.
Yeah. The swan man would come around in a truck and he'd come to every door and they had frozen food in the truck and you could buy the food off the truck. And he came to the door that day and rang the doorbell. I went and he said, training. And he said, can I help? Can I get you some food today? We've got these, breast cutlets. We've got these, we've got pork chops. We've got blah, 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 blah. And I'm just listening to him. And about that time, Blue came up, and that was what we called our dog. We're real original, Blue. Blue came up. No, yeah, he did. But he was going. And as he was doing that, a chicken head came out one side, literally, these chicken heads were coming out of the sides of his mouth. He was gnawing on, just jawing. And that swan man looked down at Blue and then he looked up at me. And I said, I really think we're good today. I think I'm taking care of it. 2 of my life stories. 4-H.
And did he run? Was he out of there quickly?
He never ever came back. we never had the opportunity for swans. Yeah.
So.
Anyway, Lou, I really want to hear how you're doing. I'm sorry, I really didn't have.
We needed good laughs.
I'm thinking of people that might watch this video later, like Sally. I'm thinking Sally is going to crack up at this.
I think Nancy missed her.
To go to someone else, Michele first.
Gee, I think I may have said what I was going to say, but my next checkup is in 2 weeks, my next CLO checkup. But I did learn today, which was interesting, is I don't know if any of you all have been having Cologuard tests that your perhaps your PCP is supposed to if you've had one colonoscopy, I guess mine had been prescribing Cologuards as opposed to another colonoscopy. However, today I learned from another doctor I went to, I had polyps on my first colonoscopy. They weren't cancerous, they were removed. That if you've had polyps, no one should have ever told you to get a Cologuard.
That's right.
You should only be told to get another colonoscopy. And I had like 2 different providers tell me to get this Cologuard. So this is my public service announcement. Based on what I learned today, push to get, even if they're trying to save on testing, just push to get it. And tomorrow I will be, if I didn't have 2 meetings tonight, I would have booked when I got home. Tomorrow I'll be calling to book a colonoscopy because it's been years since I had the last one. Yeah. So that's my little public service announcement, is something that I learned today. And also the other thing is, I don't know about you all down there, but it's really hard to find PCPs here. They've all been full and not taking new patients up in Boston, where you'd think there'd be so much access. But they've stopped taking patients in Boston. And it's hard to find an OBGYN. Lynn, I think you probably don't need one of those. But it's very hard, and they stopped doing, I've had some patients call me, they stopped doing pap smears at 64. And, I've had patients write, but aren't we at a greater risk or whatever, or shouldn't they still be doing them? Well, anyway, if anyone's listening, just push. And if that doctor won't do it, go to someone else. If you've had any history in your family, or even if you've had any breast cancer risk, to get the pap test. And having CLL, people have asked, are we at higher risk?
I went to, I guess it's been, well, when I first got here in 2017, 18, and I went to an OB-GYN, anyway, at UT Southwestern, and they said unless I'm having some kind of problems, that they didn't need to see me for that. So, but I do still do the mammogram and the breast exam.
Nancy, does actually in Texas, do you all have this? Oh, you're in Texas, Judy, too. But on the pap test, do they stop at a certain point? Do you know?
I had a hysterectomy, so I really don't have pap smears anymore at all, or but I do have a GI doc, and when I started treatment, and I've had polyps too on my colonoscopy, so I was on a 5-year plan, and but when I started treatment, he wanted me to do the Cologuard, because he felt like my body at that time was maybe too upset, inflamed, going nut. My spleen was enlarged. So, but I am scheduled for a full colonoscopy at the end of March.
That's you.
I had one in December, but I have one every 2 years.
You have one every 2 years.
It's because my Richter's was in my colon.
I remember that now that you're saying that. I had forgotten that. Is everyone else up to date on their colonoscopies? Good. I just thought
I sure hope so. I hope I'm caught up for the rest of my life.
I wish.
I hope so too, Lynn, for your sake. Now Lou, we're all wondering about, now you're on your day 2 now?
Yeah, day 2. I did the first 5 tablets. It is a capsule, and you have to take 5 at a time. And so I did that about, I guess it was about 9:30 or so yesterday morning. But we arrived at 7:45 at the research center, and we were there until 4 o'clock. So it was a full day at the research center. And then I went back this morning for labs and EKG. This is my 6th clinical trial. I have never had so many EKGs in my life as much as I had yesterday. Yesterday, they said, be prepared. We're going to do EKGs and put the leads on your body every hour. So I had it done every hour, and it was in triplets. So multiply starting at 8 o'clock, going until almost 4 o'clock. They stopped at 3:30 with the last one. But each time I had a set of 3 every hour. I have never had so many EKGs in my entire life.
So is this because there are heart issues, potential heart issues?
It's not in the list of information of side effects that I received from the clinical trial coordinator. And it is not something that, Dr. Abdallah mentioned. I mean, I remember back when I was on Kyprolis, I was having to be monitored by a cardiologist quite often. And at one point for 2 weeks, because I had a little bit of arrhythmia going on. And so I had to wear a harness, for 2 weeks for them to monitor. Okay, well, I understand that because Kyprolis is known, for having some issues for your heart. But this was not this came out of the blue for me. I mean, I understand for a clinical trial, you start off with a bunch of tests. We all, know for clinical trials, they're going to test you to death. And so I expected the first one. And then when she came back within the hour for the second try set of EKGs, I was like, how often do you have to do this today? And she said, every hour. And I was just like, oh my God.
Is this because it's a phase 1?
It's a phase 1B. So it's not far removed from mice, but it's a phase 1B, which means there have been some humans throughout the country. I don't think it's more than like 25 who have been on it since, it's been out of the mouse group. And so I knew, I've been in a phase 1 before. The allo that I did was a phase 1 CAR T. So I did know that there were, things they don't know. Every time I would ask Dr. Shanae, who was in charge of that clinical trial for the allo, I would say, well, what are the numbers saying about this side effect? Or what are the numbers saying about that side effect? And she'd look at me and she'd say, well, we really don't know. And it dawned on me finally, I am the data. I said, what's the data say about blah, blah, blah? And she'd look at me and say, oh, we really don't know. And then it dawned on me, I am the data. I'm part of the data, So anyway, I have to remind myself of that for this clinical trial as well. But it's a very different kind of drug. It's called OPN-6602. It doesn't have a name yet. Just like the allo didn't have a name for a long time, and then they called it Arlo. But this doesn't have a name yet, so it's called a small molecule inhibitor. That's, it's not, MIB or a MAB or, any of those other lines of drugs and therapies. It doesn't fit in any of those. It's its own person, its own little box.
Is it a pill?
Yeah, a capsule. It's either a pill or a capsule. And I got the capsule, thank God. I was thinking if it's a big old horse pill like some of those are, I'd be gagging if I had to take 5. You have to take them pretty close in succession and drink lots of water with them, obviously. But anyway, thank God it's a capsule. And so they go down fairly well. But every morning, about the same time, I'm supposed to take 5 capsules. And I was like, oh, okay, like Revlimid, 21 days on, 7 days off. And they went, no, every day forever, or as long as you're on it. And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm just kind of learning new things about those. But so far, I have to say that it is, I'm knocking on wood. This is a desk that my husband made, so I know it's solid wood. And so it so far no major side effects that I can tell. I've had some intestinal thing going on before I started the trial yesterday. It just kind of was exasperated last night, after I had the medication in the morning, but it's better, this afternoon. So I told them about it. Of course, you have to report everything, in a clinical trial, especially in the phase 1. So
You take
I
the food?
reported it.
Are you
Yes.
taking them food?
Actually, the rules are, again, different than anything I've done before. No food or tea or coffee or anything other than water 2 hours prior to taking the capsules and 1 hour after.
Just
So I have to remember when I get in the car, if it's been under an hour, I have to remind myself that no, you can't go through Starbucks and get your typical Trenta Black iced tea. I have to remind myself, don't do that, or if you get it, don't drink it yet, so
that sounds
anyway.
like my husband's when he was on the Parkinson's, we had the similar things of that. And I think it's because they want it to get into your small intestine for absorption.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason. It's new, different than what I've had before in my other 5 clinical trials, as far as, what you have to do and the rules and all that kind of fun stuff. So anyway, it's just to kind of let you know, they reported that the preclinical trial results, which all that means is in mice, 71% tumor growth was, reduced, 71%. So, and that's as a monotherapy. They, in phase 2, Dr. Abdullah said that, because I had thought there were 2 arms. One arm with just it as a monotherapy or only this drug, and then the other one with dexamethasone. And, dexamethasone, as we know, is a pain. I know that it does good things, to help side effects and stuff like that. And I know why it's there and I know why we get it. I don't always like it because, as you know, you lose sleep. As Mary was talking, and the rest of you that have been on prednisone or dex, you lose sleep. But I thought it was arms, but it's not. Phase 1B, no dex. Phase 2 will add dex. So anyway, that's the kind of things that I've learned. I'm learning. This is a new thing. So
What are the trial goals?
We talked to Dr. Abdullah a month and a half ago about that. What is he hoping to accomplish with this? And at the time, I had 12% myeloma cells in my bone marrow. And he said, at the least, I'm hoping for it to maintain, to keep you at that stable, maintenance level. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't like the sound of that. I want to be in remission. But, I'm a realist. I've been doing this 12 and a half years. In May, it'll be 13. So I'm a realist. I understand that the further out you get from your very first treatment, the less and less it typically will put you in total remission. But I want something that's going to keep me low enough so that it doesn't damage my organs, so that the myeloma cells don't cause lesions, all that kind of stuff. But at 12% in my bone marrow, David and I were like, we don't like that, but we understand, okay. And so that's why I said, let's give it a start. It does not mean that it doesn't work better than that, obviously for some people, and worse than that for others. You know how that average goes. But anyway, which was fine when my numbers were 12%. Since then, I had a bone marrow biopsy a week ago, and the numbers are 20 to 30% in my bone marrow. So my husband's question, as he was freaking out when he heard the numbers, he said, well, get on the phone with Dr. Abdallah, find out from him if he said that it was going to maintain at 12%, what does it mean if it's 20 to 30%? Is it going to maintain at that higher level? You know, my husband is like, oh my God, you know, that's Dave. He thinks I'm going to keel over dead, you know, that day. So anyway, I did message Dr. Abdallah, and he said, after a month, if it's not working, we'll try something else.
Oh, wow.
So how often will they do the bone marrow?
I don't think that that's what they're going to be looking at primarily. I think it will be blood labs right away. Since I just had a bone marrow biopsy in the clinical trial, it doesn't require one for 3 months. But blood labs, yes, you know, but just not a bone marrow biopsy. I think 3 months is what they said. So they're going to measure, they'll measure, you know, what they can measure through the blood labs and
so
electrophoresis, things like that.
For CLL, we have a flow test. So is there a test for myeloma that's similar to that?
Yeah, and yeah, the electrophoresis, and it looks at the kappa. I
The
do
light
kappa.
strains. The light
Yeah.
strains.
And that's what he looks at to monitor me is the kappa number.
Okay,
So
I'm
the
having
light change.
How
I'm
long?
having next week too.
Oh, the same test?
The light strains, he does that about every 2 or 3 months.
Really?
Because CLL can develop into multiple myeloma.
Right. And vice versa.
Right.
Well,
Myeloma can develop into leukemia.
So when did they decide, Judy, to do the light string testing? Was
I
it
don't know.
something?
I've done it about, I think about 4 times in the last couple of years. And that's when they've come up that I have the MGUS, just slightly MGUS.
Lou, are you gonna reopen your Caring Bridge?
Yes, I did put a post in Caring Bridge this past week. So I've never closed
that.
Yeah, I've never closed it. Just go into Caring Bridge if you know how to do that. And you know, it doesn't cost you anything, or all you have to do is go in and give yourself a password, you know, and you can access anybody.
So is it just, do I just look up Lou Sears?
Lou Sears, yeah.
Okay.
And I made a post last week. It was before I got my first dose yesterday. But yeah, I did a new post. So the last post was in October.
Lou, how long do you go in every day to have the monitoring?
I do. I go in, it's like every week I have something. I have labs. Next Wednesday, I go back for a 8 to 9 hour day again. But I have labs, you know, that day, as well as I think day 1, 8, and 15 are, I think, the long days. And that's when I probably will go through 50,000 EKGs again.
So you don't have to go in every
I so look forward to that part.
So did they leave the leads on, or they take them off each time?
Oh
and put them?
no, they would be too itchy, and that's what it. I don't know if you can see. That's what the leads do to my arm. So I mean, that's the sticky thing, the little sticky thing that the leads are. And on this one, it's not as bad. But this side, she clamped it on, to the little lead, thing, and grabbed part of my.
Oh,
And I was, and it's a pretty hard clamp, And so I said, I think you got my skin.
Wow.
So anyway, it's just a joy. But you know what? It's I know why I'm doing it, and right now, if it can tamp down the myeloma until I decide whether or not to go forward with the other option, which is, I don't know if you remember, Michele, them talking about the Majestic 3 at ASH, and it had incredible results. Now they're at Majestic 7, but Majestic 3 was teclistamab and daratumumab. And those two combined, it was the one that got the standing ovation from the doctors in the room. And a friend that I'm a myeloma patient with, her and her husband were in the room and said it was amazing to see when they put the slide up that showed the results, for the Majestic 3, the doctors were standing and applauding. They were very, very impressed. So Dr. Abdallah said, I had neurotoxicities with teclistamab before, but it was part of a clinical trial, and he could not reduce the dose. So now it's FDA approved, so he can do a Majestic 3 type, dosing for me. So he can adjust it. If he sees I'm having any issues, he can reduce it. He can stop it. He can start it again. So his plan is if this does not work, the one I'm on right now, in a month shows like my disease, escalating and or no results, no change. He said, we'll do the teclistamab, put you in the hospital for the, starting teclistamab. You have to be monitored for a week. And then he said, we'll add DARA, so it's going to be very similar to the dosing for the Majestic 3. But he can have leeway with the dosing and just to reduce the possibility of neurotoxicities. And if that does not work, Houston, here I come.
Well, now you have a bunch of friends in Texas, so.
Yeah. But I just read your Caring Bridge, and it sounded like there might even be a second option there and in the Kansas area too.
It's the what I just mentioned.
The killer something.
The
killer something is in Houston.
That's right. That's right. Killer T
Lou,
cells.
if you make it by the end of May, you'll be here in time for the roundup out on
Oh my God.
Jay's
I'm
ranch.
coming to Roundup.
I don't know if they'll let me do any calf
You're
roping.
all invited. Barbell, I expect to see you there with your spurs on.
we had a to do
I don't
round.
think they'll let me, out of the hospital. So I have to be in their little, it's kind of like a Hope House.
Yeah,
here
if you
at, MD Anderson.
Right.
They call it something else.
yeah,
It's is it Masons or something has a,
Well, there is a Masonic
yeah,
hotel that's like $25 a night, but
Yeah.
they have the equivalent here in Kansas City. They have what they call the Hope House, which is sponsored by the Cancer Society. And they have the equivalent there at MD Anderson on the grounds, they say, or right there in the buildings, around those buildings. And it is free, but sometimes they don't always have openings. You just have to be going through cancer treatment.
they have one in Dallas, but I'm not sure that I would want to go to it where it is because it's away from the hospital in a part of town. I'm not sure. I would
Well,
want
this is on the grounds, I guess, of MD Anderson. So,
Lynn, where did you guys stay when you were going to MD Anderson?
There were a variety of places. We stayed at a Comfort Suites that was out Highway 59 on the north side. It was about a 35, 40-minute drive in. We also stayed at the Cancer Hope Retreat, which I think was about $25 a night. That was a little further out, maybe 10-minute further drive, 15-minute further drive, which was really nice. A family, a couple was running that. He had cancer treatment. The one that I'm thinking about that's connected to MD Anderson is the Rotary House. But I don't think that's free though.
Mm-mm. No.
But there are others. You can search under Joe's. Is it Joe's House? I'll look and put the link in the chat that has the.
When my friends have gone there, they've just gotten apartments.
Yeah.
But
Well,
those
have to come.
aren't free. You
No,
know,
they're
and
not.
or they're not $25 a night. So
No.
if you have the means, you know, that's wonderful. David and I are retired teachers, so we're not independently rich. So I investigated, you know, when I was looking at it at the end of last year, and I saw what was like the Hope House, sponsored by the Cancer Center, or the Cancer, not center, but the Cancer Society. And that one was free. And the one that was the Masonic Alliance, I checked it out, and it was $25 a night. So,
And also,
you know, I think we'll just see.
you might, you know, if you end up, which I hope you don't, but if you end up coming that way, check with your community. You probably may already know what you have, but in Abilene, we have a cancer resource services, which I have not ever had to use, but they do offer travel and lodging reimbursement. And so
Right.
there are some nonprofits, and probably, you know, that would, I mean, I totally understand the dilemma. And for the amount of time you've got to be here, that's the last thing you want to be worrying about.
Yeah, because I have to be there. I would have to be there for a week for testing, and then go back home, and then they, you know, say yay or nay that you qualify, and if you qualify, you go back down for at least 30 days.
Well,
So,
and you know, there are also free flights for cancer patients.
we would drive so we could have our car. But I have, as you know, life would have it, when I was a teacher, still, you know, before I retired, we met with the entrance people that would come around and meet with each teacher, you know, before you would take out your yearly, you know, and sign, you know, for what you wanted for your entrance. And one young man that I was meeting with said, "Do you want cancer insurance?" And I said, "Well, I don't, you know, because at that time I'd just been diagnosed, you know, with myeloma." And I told him, I said, "Nobody's going to want to insure me, you know, because I'm already diagnosed." And he said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "You can't, it doesn't kick in for 2 years, but after that, you have it." I forgot about it. I mean, you know, taught the rest of the time, you know, at my school district, retired. And when I was home recuperating after CAR T, I was like, you know, I wonder if that cancer insurance would, you know, do anything. I was in town, so I didn't have to worry about travel, but I thought, I wonder what it covers, you know, and if there's any benefits that could be helpful. And sure enough, they don't care if you're regular, like Blue Cross Blue Shield at the time is what I had. They don't care if that was covering certain things, your treatment, procedures, whatever. They would still send you money for it. All you had to do was provide the hospital bills, and other information, of course, from your doctor and diagnosis information and stuff. But I did that, and that first year I got $3,000.
Wow.
So it was for a year long. I accumulated information, but you know what? It's still to this day. Yesterday we got a check for $1,700
Wow.
from my cancer insurance that I thought at the time was a stupid investment.
Yeah, I turned it down every time too.
Yeah, I thought, oh, they're not going to cover me. And then he said, oh yeah, they will after 2 years. There's a 2-year waiting period if you're already diagnosed.
Hmm.
So anyway,
What did your husband
that's
teach?
good. Huh?
What did your husband teach?
The first part of his career, David was a BD teacher. Well, actually, he was BD and then went into it as a resource for other BD teachers. So in
What's
Shawnee
BD?
Mission, BD, behavior disorders.
Oh, okay.
So his first degree, past his BS, was in behavior disorders. And so he started his career, the first half of his career, working with kids who were severely emotionally disturbed, and then started being a resource for other BD teachers in that district, Shawnee Mission, where I retired, and he taught at the beginning. And then about halfway after we had gotten married, he said, I want to get his second master's in counseling. And so he started a counseling psychology program and got, his second master's in that, and finished up his career as an elementary counselor. And I have always been a reading specialist, and that's, for 39 years, that's what I did.
Hey, I think
So-
Lynda.
Lynda still hasn't spoken. So I'm feeling badly. We haven't forgotten you, Lynda. So,
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. It's fine.
so how are you doing? And please update us or anything that you wanted to share.
Well, last month I think I shared that I had found some red bumps on my toes, and it turns out that I have chilblains, and so the doctor started me on ointment for that, and I have it on my fingers. So I also have to keep my fingers warm, hence the gloves.
What is
Because
it? I'm sorry, I missed
it's
what
called,
you
it's
said.
called chilblains.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it has something to do with I'll try to explain, something to do with the blood vessels not getting enough blood flow. So when it's cold or damp, everything constricts. And so the ointment that he gave me, because we were talking about the magnesium oil. Okay, so he gave me a prescription that has to be compound. It's a compound. And so I use that twice a day. Have to keep socks on. And because it's so cold here, Michele, as you know, like we're like 3 degrees, 4.
It
It
I know
was.
you
Like it was 13 degrees when I got in the car this morning, so I have to double up in terms of socks and
need
stuff.
to move somewhere
Very
warm.
warm. Yeah, right. No, right. 13 was warm, and
7 today.
but then also have to keep my fingers warm as well. So then
Lynda, how do you spell that? I can't understand what you're saying.
it's CHILB. I think it's CHILBEANS. Chilblains.
Okay.
And you'll see pictures of, you look at it, you'll see pictures of, because if it gets too bad, it'll blister. So on one of my toes, it has started to blister. So I had that. So then I kept noticing, it felt like something was going on vaginally that I couldn't get a sense of. It just felt like maybe it was a UTI or something. So long story short, turns out I have another UTI, which I seem to keep them frequently, but I have a UTI and I also have a fungal infection as well. And so, and I just found that out today. So I'm on 2 different prescriptions. So she promised me, because I see my the 18th. And so she promised it. Yep. You have it, Judy. That's what it looks like. So hopefully by the time I see, my hematologist oncologist on the 18th for my follow-up, that at least one of these infections is under control. That's the goal, because I think I shared with you in December, I made the decision with the doctors not to do any treatment. So the goal was not to get any infections. They were very, very clear. You can't get any infections. You just cannot, under any circumstances, get any infections. And so I had 3. I've been dealing with the fatigue, but the doctor said today that the fatigue was probably as a result of the infections, because I had been feeling fatigued probably since last week, and I'm not sleeping well. She says probably as a result of the infection. So hopefully once the antibiotics, we did a 1-shot antibiotic this time, called I think it's Foxamicin. I'll put it in the chat. You take it, it's with 4 ounces of water, and that's supposed to be even more effective than taking a regular antibiotic, like a 5-day course. So, so I did that.
That's great.
Yeah, I'll put it in chat. So hopefully, the infection will start to clear up. And she said if the infections start clearing up, then I'll probably start to get a little bit more energy and I won't be as fatigued. But my goal was not to get anything, until I go back to the doctor. So we have that going on. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Have they recommended you doing IVIG or anything like that?
No, because see, we had talked about that in December, but again, because I was just tired of everything and I was tired of just being sick, I just needed a break. And so the agreement was we would take a break until I come back in February. But they were stressing you just can't get any infections. And of course I picked up infections. So it's what my life is like right now.
Some of those are, can't always prevent what's been happening to you. I know you said you were starting to wear one of the times you're wearing a mask now.
Yep. Yeah, I wear a mask all the time. Mm-hmm.
But as far as other things, UTIs happen.
Well, and I was on a medication, and the doctor and I talked about this today, because I had vaginal atrophy from the treatments from before last. So I had been on a specific medication that I was taking for that, and I'm supposed to do it every day. The doctor said today that no, you probably should have been on it for 2 weeks and then twice a week. And so she thinks that's been that particular medication is what's also contributing to me getting these frequent UTIs. So we made the decision today that I'll use it one more time this week, but we're going to go to twice a week. And it's 2 milligrams of that, and then see if that also makes a difference. Because I've just never really got a lot of UTIs until all this started going on. But this is my 3rd UTI since the end of October.
I've gone through periods where I get them frequently, but I've also since read that sometimes, with CLL, that can happen because of your immunity, but also one of the drugs I was on, it can happen more frequently, and I'm trying to remember which one.
Right. Because that was one thing the doctor said, is that because I'm immunocompromised, and she says you have so much going on. She says I'm just not surprised. So she says you can't beat yourself up about getting these infections. A fungal infection, I just didn't understand how I even got that. But
yeah, Louie, you had some odd infection, right? Like was it a fungal or bacterial that?
In my bone marrow. Yeah.
And did they ever figure out how that happened?
They think it was introduced on an instrument in a bone marrow biopsy.
That is so scary.
It could just be one tiny little fungus or, yeah, like cell. And if it's introduced on an instrument that's used in a bone marrow biopsy, you can get it. So it was in my bone marrow.
Wow.
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
So Lynda, you're not on any kind of treatment then?
Not right now. Not right now. But I think that'll change on February 18th when I see the doctor. I'm pretty sure that's going to change.
And have they talked about what it would be?
She's given me a couple of ideas, but when the tumor board met in October, the end of October, November, they said because of the DANC, because of that also was going to have an impact on the kind of treatments that they would do, which is why the Kineret, which the other doctor wanted to restart me back on the Kineret again, which is the injections. The board said no, that they needed to find something totally different, because the Kineret was kept me in neutropenia, but it was also dropping my neutrophils plus my white blood count. It was just having a negative effect, and it wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing. And if we restarted it, it would be the third time that I would have started it. And the board said no, the doctors needed to come up with something else. So I probably won't know anything until I see the doctor, in February.
Wow. Good review board.
Hmm?
That's a good review board.
It was a very good review. Yes, definitely.
Have you looked and researched about, I mean, I guess you have to hear from your doctor first, but on trials or other treatments that they do?
I did. I looked, United Blood Cancer.
Yeah.
In New York. I worked with one of the researchers, but one of the people that I talked to 3 different people, and they gave me a list of 2 possible trials, but my doctors would need to sign off of it here, and it's at Sloan. But then he said that for me, because I'm at Yale, that even if I started the treatment at Sloan, the follow-up would still be at Yale, and it would just make more sense to stay at Yale, because Yale could do the same thing that Sloan could do. So they didn't see any purpose in me going somewhere else or even coming up to Boston. It just made sense to stay at Yale. And
if they can do it.
If
right?
they can
if they
right.
trial.
Right. But I would need to see if I will qualify. There's 2 that we looked at.
So that's the old LLS, their new name, Blood Cancer United.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't realize they would do that. That's
yeah, they have a lot of resources. I started off with somebody from the marketing, and then she connected me with 2 other people, and then I had a nutritionist that I also spoke to. I had a consult with a nutritionist as well, and then 2 different resource people, and
Wow.
they were very helpful. Yeah, it's very, very, very helpful. And then they sent me a whole lot of information and things to read as well. So they're looking at also, because of the Stitcher syndrome, what's going to work, between the 2. So it's still, the Stitcher syndrome still has to be treated. Like, both diseases have to be treated. They can't be just like relying on one.
Does anything treat both simultaneously?
But whatever we've tried so far, nothing's working for me. It's just, we've been at this since 2024. So 2024, I think we did 3 different treatments. 2025 is when we started with the Kineret, because the Kineret was supposed to be the answer. The Kineret I was on, then I picked up all the infection. I caught the cold. I had the cold for 7 weeks. Remember, I had to go through that whole thing, and then we started it again. Then I got something else. So, nothing's really working. Now the tumor board did say that my numbers, when they looked at my numbers, particularly my white blood count, that with the way my system, I guess my body chemistry is, that the white blood count will probably remain low. It's like what they were looking at is when it dipped, when it really, really dipped, what was going on. And then that's when they were looking at the neutropenia. They were hesitant about treating the neutropenia without treating everything else. So it's got to be a big picture in terms of the treatment.
So they didn't never give you like the Neupogen shots for the neutropenia?
No, then we talked about, the doctors talked about, but again, I keep picking up these infections. For me, it's the infections.
But that would help because
exactly. And it was like, no.
And also like the IVIG would boost your immunity.
Yeah.
Right. Then that was that was one of the things the oncologist had talked to me about. And then I was sick again, right? So I was sick in October, November, December is when I had for the cataracts. Then we were going to restart the injection. Then I got an infection. So then we're into December when I had the appointment. And so at that point, it was like, no, I'd rather just wait until I go back to see the hematologist again to see what she's going to recommend. Because now she would have had all the results as well.
Have you gotten a second opinion?
I have thought about that, and I talked to the representative at United Blood Cancer. I talked to them about that, and their feeling again was because I'm at they looked at the doctors that are on my team. They felt that I had a really good team, and for me to go somewhere else, I was going to be starting from scratch and probably getting the same results. So
even if you went to Memorial Sloan Kettering,
and that was good. That would be my goal, is to go into the city. For me, it's easier for me to actually go into the city than it is to come up to Boston. And they were saying that even if I got a second opinion, they're going to still go back and talk to the doctors that are already treating me.
Right.
Have a conversation, then I would have to make a decision. So I'm thinking now that I wanted to wait to see what Dr. Browning is going to say when I see her in 2 weeks, taking everything into consideration. And at that point, if I'm not completely satisfied, then I will look at going, getting a second opinion.
Lou, does HealthTree have doctors that do second opinions? Like, for instance, the CLL Society has a free second opinion program. And you don't have to go in person. It can be virtual. They use some of the tests, they review your past test, and they make their own recommendations independently of what others have said. But it's free, and also you can do it virtually now. It used to have to be in person, but is there anywhere for the MGUS that would do that?
HealthTree doesn't have like, a second opinion kind of, group of doctors. They can give you the names of doctors for a second opinion, but it's up to you, to go ahead and check that out.
So that's the wonderful thing the CLL Society has there, that they've set that up. And I believe there's something else too, but there's nothing for MGUS that you know of then that would do that. Or you probably called the right place, blood cancer.
Exactly. That was like, I thought, the best resource.
Well, in that you are so close to the city, a train ride away, right?
Right.
Well, you would be
with a mask and really, really covered up on the train, right? Going.
Well, Lynda, one of the things I do is I double mask.
Yeah.
I don't use a single mask. I always double mask.
Okay.
Lynda, how do you like your new lenses?
I have to go back. The right eye didn't take. And so
Oh,
when I saw my ophthalmologist in January, she said she's sending me back to the surgeon. I'm gonna have to go back in I think in March. And she said the right eye, they have to do a YAG. It's a YAG. So it's something they do to polish the lens or clean off or something the lens for my right
Oh,
eye.
That's just where it gets cloudy.
Right. Like she was saying that she could see like all these strands. And like, so when I look at a light, like I have the halo, every light is a
What
halo for me.
if it's a yak? It's just a what do you call it? A laser thing, and it takes 30 seconds.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what we're talking about. I'm still seeing floaters, and I'm just very sensitive to light. But she said that would take time. It's just the brain trying to adjust. But for the most part, I like I can wake up in the morning. I don't have to put on glasses right away, so I kind of like that.
yeah.
When I'm on the computer, I have on glasses, but for
Yeah.
the most part, walking around, I like it.
That would be a good thing. Yeah, I
Mhm.
wear contacts or glasses. And now there's the readers on top of it also.
Right. Well, that's how I was wearing. I was wearing contacts. I was wearing toric lenses, and I had readers over the contacts.
I'm checking out now multifocal contacts. So,
Oh, I had that. It's weighted so that they go up and down, not round.
it's throughout it somehow, yes. And yeah, I don't know. That's why that's not my expertise, but yes, it's in it somehow. It's not like an eyeglass. Yeah.
No.
But nothing's perfect, they tell me. But distance won't be perfect and up close won't be perfect. It's like, well, Now, Lynda, was there any, so February 18th, going to be thinking of that day and sending out some good juju and love.
Thank you.
And how many people did you tell us before have this?
Of the Slisher syndrome worldwide? I don't know. I
The
don't
US.
remember the number. It's in the US. It's not. It's rare. It's not a huge number, and I think that's what makes it so hard to treat, along with everything else I have. That's the challenge.
I think it's even, I mean, I think each of us has what's considered a rare cancer here, but I think yours is
Rare.
rarer. So yeah,
It was especially designed for me. That's why I keep telling myself, right? Like all these different things here. It's mine. It's especially designed.
probably learning with you
Mm-hmm.
is what it is, because it is so rare. Well, we'll be there with you in spirit on that day and
Thank you.
and see what they say. But what I suggest sometimes is to make an appointment. It doesn't mean you have to keep it, but it takes a long time to get an appointment as a new patient. So to make one, and it might not be for a while,
Right.
somewhere else. And then you decide as you get closer, am I going to keep it, not keep it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe just leave it on the books until maybe a week before. Because maybe something, let's just say things go okay on the 18th, and then you go on something and maybe it's working, maybe it isn't. I don't know. What do other people think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because, sometimes it's 3 and 4 to 6 months before you can even get an appointment. And so I know while with my neuropathy, when I was taking the benotuximab was worse. And I'm thinking, I don't want it to get any worse. Luckily, since I've stopped taking it, it's back to where it was. But at that point, I had made an appointment with a neuro person, and I asked Dr. Awan about it, and he said, it won't hurt you to go and talk to them, because that was my whole thing is I don't want this to be worse. Right now, I can live with it if it stays like it is, but I certainly don't want it to be worse. But
Oh.
it took me 6 months to get an appointment.
Wow, that's a good example right there. Does anyone else have any, Lynn, did you have anything else to share with us about yourself? You shared about Shirley.
Well, and I did go check, be sure she was okay, and she wasn't in bed, and the door was closed to the bathroom. So I knocked and went in and said, "Do you need anything?" I mean, realize she's only got one hand now. And she said, "Yes. Would you squeeze the toothpaste for me so I can put it on my on my toothbrush?" I'm doing fine. My next appointment with Dr. Awan will be in November. That's a 12-month interval. I see the pulmonologist in August. My last CBC was good. So, and I'll have another CBC done in July. He said Dr. Wan said that last CBC was the best ever. So,
Okay. This is off the subject. If you're through, I wanted to tell Michele something.
Okay, I have to take my drugs. That's why my alarm keeps going off. But anyway, so what's going on?
Okay, you said you got reclassed, right?
And I'm due
Okay,
to
I got it last January, and I actually had the appointment with the doctor yesterday after having my bone deal, and I had a 4% increase, which they said is clinically significant. And so then I'm scheduled to have another one, and she said 3 reclass, and then we reevaluate where it's going. But she was clinically glad, and so I'm just
That's
barely into osteoporosis instead of
Oh.
you know, so.
So I'm no longer osteoporosis after having one, but also I've been doing weight bearing exercise, and I always did, except for when when COVID happened and the gyms closed, and then I fractured my back. And once I started back, I think that did help, and I did have the reclass. But I had the same as you. I believe it was 4% in one area increase, and they said that. So then my next one, it'll end up being 19 months, but it was supposed to be 18 months because I had such a significant increase. But you're going every 12 months?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So, yeah, it worked, and I'll be getting my next one soon.
Yeah,
And you too?
Mine's at the scheduler, so whenever they get the schedule to do, probably within the next month.
But I can only get the tests every 2 years, according to insurance. And
If you've been diagnosed with the osteoporosis, they should do it every year.
One would think so.
You could probably appeal that. Your doctor could for you.
So you go every year.
Mhm.
well, I had one more thing I wanted us to do before we wrapped up today. I would like for Nancy to give us a little tour of the paintings she's got behind her.
You're muted.
So this is I call this the tree line, and it's just an abstract watercolor ink. And then the rest of these are not, that's my work. Then this over here is Adrian Stein, excellent painter. And purple irises were in my wedding bouquet. And this, if you can look up, you see that guy? He's in his prayer shawl. I got that painting in Israel. I was talking to another artist, and he was framing it, and he was getting ready to put it in a show. And I said, well, what are you going to do with it afterwards? And he said, I'm going to sell it. And I said, well, I want to buy it. So I bought it. And then that was my watercolor teacher's, and she's passed away now, but she was in Vermont. And then that's just one of my watercolor. I think it's just a sparrow. I think it's a sparrow. So that is now you now may go to bed and dream of frolicking in the meadows under these trees
Yeah.
and having the healing balm of Gilead put upon put upon your heart. Sweet, sweet dreams.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love your painting that's right behind you. I have to say that's my favorite.
Well, thank you.
It's beautiful.
On that
Thank you for
note,
sharing.
Well,
Yeah.
I have to adjust my comment to say that Lynda, you're obviously a bull rider too. So that just means Lynn and I are the only, we might not even be calf ropers. We might be, what is it when mutton choppers. We might be chasing the sheep.
I might be one of the rodeo clowns.
Oh,
oh,
that's a great idea.
I love when
In a
they have the
barrel.
little. No.
I'm in a barrel and the bull is butting it and rolling me around the.
Good. It's good. I'm not fast enough.
I want to
No, I'm
put
not.
something out too that's totally off of that. We have a group that's Care Partners group for caregivers, and so if you have anybody that you know that is a caregiver, and to do it, we have a very small group. So if you'd have them go to the AnCan.org, they can join that. It's twice a week on Tuesday nights.
Look at that. Oh, gee. She's saying good night.
Good
She's
night.
saying, this is not a blue tick coonhound.
So cute. She's so cute. Oh,
She's the sweetest.
she is. Good night, everyone, and thank you for our dream state for the evening,
Night.
Nancy. Good night, everyone. Thanks for
guys.
being here.
Good night.
Have a good month.
Bye-bye.